Welcome back to the deep dive. It's kind of amazing when you stop and think about it. It's been more than 50 years since humans last walked on the moon.
It really is. Between 1969 and 72, you had 6 Apollo missions land successfully. Apollo 17 was the last one, an incredible achievement for the time.
Totally incredible. And then, well, nothing. Radio silence, basically. For over half a century now, no human boots on the lunar surface.
Yeah, it's a really stark contrast to that whole sprint during the Apollo years. And, when you ask why, the usual answers pop up pretty quickly.
Right, you always hear about the budget cuts or how the political focus shifted once the Cold War space race sort of fizzled out.
Exactly. Those are the standard kind of surface level explanations.
But we started wondering, what if that's not the whole story? What if those reasons are just, scratching the surface? Could there be something
Yeah.
bigger, maybe even secrets up there on the moon that, well, someone doesn't want us to know?
That's the real hook, isn't it? That possibility. And that's what we want to dig into today.
Yeah, our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack all these different ideas, these theories and claims to help you get a handle on the different angles for why we haven't made that return trip.
It's about looking past the easy answers and asking, okay, what else might be going on here?
So let's kick things off with that big one, the budget. NASA ran out of money for moonshots. Sounds simple enough, right? I mean, space exploration is ridiculously expensive.
Oh, absolutely. No question about that. But some of the sources we looked at bring up a really interesting counterpoint when you put it in perspective.
Okay.
Well, they point to something like the U.S. military budget. Annually, it's reported at over, $800 billion?
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Right. So the argument becomes, if that kind of money is available for other massive national efforts, why is a sustained moon program suddenly completely unaffordable?
Okay.
It does make you pause.
Hmm.
Now, to be fair, the counter to that is that the military budget serves different ongoing strategic goals.
What?
And the intense Cold War pressure, that race mentality that fueled Apollo's funding, well, that specific driver just wasn't there anymore after the early 70s. The political will shifted.
Okay, that distinction makes sense. It wasn't just about the dollars, but maybe the motivation behind them. So if the money isn't the only reason, or maybe not even the main one, that brings us to the more, let's say, out there ideas, these alleged leaks and astronaut accounts. What are they actually suggesting?
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting and definitely more speculative. The sources mention things like leaked documents, maybe whispers from former astronauts that hint at finding more than just rocks and dust up there.
Like what specifically?
Well, one recurring theme is strange signals,
Hmm.
not just static, but organized signals, maybe rhythmic electromagnetic pulses, stuff that doesn't seem natural coming from a supposedly dead rock.
Okay.
It sparks that question. Could they be artificial?
Okay, strange signals. And you mentioned visuals too, not just sounds.
Exactly. There are these persistent stories, often tied to older mission photos, about unexplained structures, things captured in the background of images. One source specifically calls out a particular black and white photo of a strange lunar object that keeps cropping up in these discussions.
What kind of object are we talking about?
Well, interpretations vary wildly, obviously. Some people see geometric shapes, things that look too regular or artificial to be natural craters or rock formations. And that leads directly to the really provocative question. Were we actually alone up there?
Hmm.
It's important to stress, though, these sources present these as anomalies, as part of a narrative that questions the official story. They aren't offering, peer-reviewed proof, but raising these persistent questions based on alleged evidence.
Right. Intriguing, but definitely in the realm of the unverified. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit to something we can verify. Technology. Think about it. The tech that got us there in the 60s and 70s was groundbreaking. Absolutely. But compare it to today. We've got advanced AI. We have companies like SpaceX doing incredible things with reusable rockets. There are multiple private companies aiming for space. It seems like it should be easier now, not harder.
That's the paradox, isn't it? The modern technology paradox. Back then, every Saturn V launch was a one-shot deal, hugely expensive. Today, reusable rockets. They've fundamentally changed the economics of getting stuff into orbit and potentially beyond.
So it should be cheaper, more feasible to go back now, right?
You'd think so. You've got better computing, better materials, better propulsion concepts, more players involved. Logically, a return to the moon, maybe even setting up something more permanent, should be more achievable now than 50 years ago.
So the fact that we haven't gone back with humans, Yeah, like you said earlier, that just doesn't quite add up, does it?
It really doesn't. If you only consider the technological and basic economic factors,
Hmm.
it strongly suggests there might be other elements at play.
Which leads us back to those other theories, the ones that aren't usually part of the mainstream discussion. What else comes up in the sources?
Well, they cover a pretty wide spectrum, really. You get into ideas like maybe there are hidden bases on the moon already, either ours, operating in secret, or maybe someone else's.
Hidden bases. Wow. Okay, what else?
Then there's the theory that humanity was actually warned not to return. Like some kind of message was received or an encounter happened that basically told us to stay away, a sort of keep out sign on the moon.
Warned off by who or what? That's a heavy implication.
Exactly. It implies some kind of prior presence or claim. And then you have the most extreme end of the spectrum.
Let me guess. The idea that we never actually went in the first place.
That's the one. The theory that the entire Apollo program was faked, a massive Cold War deception. Again, the sources present these as alternative narratives that people turn to when the official explanations feel, well, incomplete.
So hidden bases, warnings, hoaxes. It's a real mix of possibilities, ranging from the clandestine to the frankly cosmic. It really shows how this one question, why haven't we gone back, opens up so many different avenues of thought.
It does. And maybe the actual truth isn't just one of these things. Maybe it's a combination or something more nuanced, somewhere in between all these different hypotheses.
It definitely pushes you to think critically, doesn't it? To question the standard narrative and consider possibilities you might normally dismiss.
Absolutely.
So, wrapping this up, the question remains, why haven't we returned to the moon? It's still, after all this time, a genuine enigma. We've touched on the budget arguments and their counterpoints, the whispers of strange discoveries, the puzzle of our advanced tech not leading us back there yet, and these less conventional theories.
Yeah, the sources we explored weave together a narrative that definitely challenges the simple answers and encourages you, the listener, to look a bit closer, maybe connect some dots for yourself.
You've heard the different sides now, the questions that arise when you look at the information available.